Alright, so boom, y'all. Now, I'm just gonna say it right now. This year's freshman class was great on paper, but underwhelming as hell in execution. I'm referring to the ciphers and the freestyles. For one, you already know we had 3 of the freshmen not even do a freestyle. And almost everything about this class, it just wasn't as good as it could have been. Hardly anybody on the list did a great job. Everyone was either trash or they did a solid job and could have went way harder than what they did. Check out my rankings of the freestyles from worst to best if you haven't already. But for right now, let me just tell you guys my rankings of the ciphers. And let me just say this list is about to be controversial. Some of the things I'm about to say, I know a lot of y'all are not gonna agree with. I'm already expecting what? You put this person over this person? Nigga, you capping. Blah, 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 blah. But I don't care. This is how I feel about each cipher after watching them several times over the past few days. Now let's get into it. In last place, again, is Lil Mosey. Before talking about his cipher, I want to say how Lil Mosey actually said on Twitter that he knows his freestyle was ass and that freestyling isn't his strong point. He just likes to sing and do medleys and he was just trying to have fun. Now, it's not like we needed him to admit his freestyle was whack. Like anybody with ears that heard his freestyle already knew that. But just judging off his XXL performance as a whole, it's hard to believe that Mosey is a good rapper. Like boy, how do you have the worst freestyle and cipher? And notice how he's the only person on this list with little in their name. And he turned out to be the worst person, so like ain't that something? For his cipher, YK tried to hype him up by adding the what ad-libs, but it just felt so out of place. The verse was already really bad, so saying what at the end of the lines was not going to help him. Even a beat couldn't help Lil Mosey. Oh, wait, excuse me. Since Mosey said this a lame ass beat, I guess he used the beat as an excuse on why his verse was so garbage. One thing I really hate is rapping very slow with one syllable rhymes. It's just so elementary when rappers use that technique. Like, god damn, I feel like the man. Freshman of the year, I woke up like the man. I was like, nigga, please. So Lil Mosey, super boring flow, ridiculously generic mumble rap type lyrics, and 8 ad-libs. Lil Mosey just did a lackluster job overall on XXL this year. Gunna didn't do a freestyle or a cypher and he still did better than Lil Mosey. Also in second to last place again is XXL Cyphers. I feel really bad for XXL Cyphers because he was really trying so hard to get along with the people in his group and nobody was rocking with him at all. Seriously, look at him doing the Suge dance during the baby's verse. He was smiling and giggling while dancing in front of Megan and Megan didn't even acknowledge that he was alive. She was just staring at the baby the whole time, so that kind of hurt to watch. And as I mentioned earlier, he tried to help Lil Mosey with the what ad-libs, but it did nothing for him. Overall, their group just had no chemistry. I will say that his singing here was much better than the singing on his freestyle. Also, this is one of the most lyrically confusing ciphers I ever heard. Did you guys have the same reaction I did? Like after hearing his cipher, it just really makes you go like, wait, what? Like, boy, what are you talking about? Like each individual line made sense, but listening to his cipher as a whole, it just sounded like a jumbled mess. I don't have much to say about his cipher other than just the way it sounded. It sounded like an alternate version of Worth It. And he mumbled the hell out of that last line. That was just sad. Don't even get me started on that. Yeah. Bring on the hate, bring on the hate, bring on the hate. At number 8, I got Tierra Whack. She is not so low on this list because she cut the beat. I personally never cared for that. I will quickly say this though. I find it funny that people were disqualifying XXXTentacion and putting him in last place because he cut off the beat. The whole point of the cipher is to rap on beat, and how you gonna turn it off? So many people did that in 2017. But last year when Ski Mask did it, and this year when Tierra did it, nobody is automatically putting them in last place. Like, nobody. People were still complaining that they did it, especially Tierra since she didn't do a freestyle but cut the beat for her cipher. Like that made no damn sense. But nobody is disqualifying them. Nobody is automatically putting them in last place for it. I know people hated X's lyrics too, saying he was trying to summon demons or whatnot, but still there were people saying, oh, even with the lyrics, it would have sounded better on the beat, but since he turned it off, he's in last place. And also, Ski Mask doing it had nothing to do with X. He said in his roundtable interview that after JID went, he knew he had a tough shoe to fill. And after doing his verse on the beat several times, he just didn't like the way it sounded, so he turned it off. So people need to stop saying, oh, he cut off the beat because he was friends with X. Like, no, that had nothing to do with it. But I say all that to say this. If you disqualify X for turning off the beat in 2017, but you didn't disqualify Ski or Tierra, then you're fake as hell. Either disqualify all of them or none of them, because all 3 of them did the same thing. Now, this cipher is so overrated. Her cipher was filled with very simple lyrics. The only clever, good lyric she had was the I wanted to be lighter, but I still shine in the dark. Like, that line was cool. And the I need space like a missing tooth. Now this is proof. And that was only made clever by the this is proof part. But saying I need space like a missing tooth on its own, that was a very weak bar. And she admittedly had a nice flow with the peppermint soap. I brag on my boast, I rack on my nose. You rappers a joke, I step on your throat. But other than that, you guys can call me a hater, say I don't know how to accept people's opinions all you want. I'm sorry. But everyone calling her cipher fire and saying that she bodied everybody else, you guys are getting super carried away. The whole beach chair, beach towel scheme at the beginning wasn't anything special. The simplest lines she had, like the giraffe next bar at the end, people were calling those fire. And I'm just like, y'all standards must be super low, because that line was not that good. Same thing with the I'm a man, W-O at the beginning. It's like, it's not hard to understand. Like, it was very simple line. That's not fire. The Breakfast Club even made a video titled Tierra Whack bodies XXL freshman cipher with unique acapella bars. For some reason, they took out the word unique a few hours later. I don't know what that was for. But yes, Tierra Whack is in 8th place. And I had to be the one to say it. Her cipher was not that great. I'm the shit, so please don't be mad if I stink. Okay. If you dislike me putting Tierra solo on the list, but you decided to keep watching the video, then I commend you, because you're really not about to like my ass after this placement. Someone else that everyone is saying bodied their cipher, but I don't think really did that great of a job, is Rico Nasty. She's at number 7. Rico was actually the person on the list whose cipher I wanted to see the most. When that cipher trailer dropped and I heard the flow she had with the I ain't never asked for a handout, but I came up now, everybody got the handout, I was like, oh shit, Rico about to have the best one out of everybody. Man, hell no, like that did not happen. She was the worst one of her group in my opinion. Rico's cipher was all flow and no lyrics, and barely even flow. The girl was rapping so damn fast that she couldn't even keep up with her own pace. She sounded like she was struggling to breathe. And it's like, Rico, like you don't have to rap this quickly if you're gonna be struggling like this. Like, calm down. You are trying way too hard to sound fire. A couple of her lines she didn't even say clearly because she was mumbling so hard. Those 2 lines were, these little bitches live in my shadow, and the first time she said, got a short temper, don't make me mad. She dead ass said both of those lines like, this little bitch live in my shadow, got a short temper, don't make me mad. Like, so Shorty was ruining her cipher by trying too hard to rap fast. And some of her lines were so basic and elementary. My diamond's the color of candy. I'm electric, shocking these bitches like Pikachu. I'm in a Benz that's the color of Fruity Loops. Like, dude, a 4th grader could have wrote these bars. And this is just me, but Rico is cute and all, but hearing her say lines like, put the pussy on him, make him tap out was very left field. Like, she has lines like that before in her music, but Rico just isn't the type to rap lyrics like that. They don't fit her character. Nevertheless, yeah, y'all need to chill on saying Rico had an amazing cipher, because she really didn't do that good. Her flow was very choppy, and she had some super simple lyrics. I'm sure a lot of you are surprised this dude is even this high on the list, but at number 6 we have Blueface Baby. Yeah, you heard me right. I think Blueface did better than Rico. And here's the crazy part. Blueface didn't do a great job either. It's just that Rico ruined her so bad that Blueface ended up being ahead of her. I would give Blueface a C and give Rico a C-. Now, this is something I noticed ever since the cipher with him dropped. There are a ton of people saying, wow, Blueface actually did a good job. Well, dang, Blueface did way better than I thought he would. He surprised me. Blueface did not do a good job. The reason why y'all so flabbergasted is because y'all expected him to have a horrible cipher. So since he didn't do that bad, you guys want to call it good. His cipher was still lackluster. It's just y'all expectations for him were insanely low. So y'all just surprised that he wasn't as whack as y'all thought he would be. Blueface's flow was pretty much like non-existent. The offbeat thing, yes, that's still there. And he was really just talking while there was conveniently a beat playing in the background. He wasn't even rapping. Even with all of those negatives, what put Blueface so high is his lyrics. It was a typical Blueface verse. Basic lyrics mixed in with some clever ones here and there. I need a Kim Possible to play with my Rufus. The sauce dripping when I'm dressing. It's easy. Famous Crip. Niggas could never be me. Like blood, be me. That was a little good touch. I ain't text her back, but she still got the messages. Like, all of those lines were cool. Like, since I listened to a lot of Blueface, he is starting to get repetitive with the Crip blue lines. Like he said, famous Crip, if I pull up, then she blew it. Even in Next Big Thing, if she's smoking dick, I'm a Crip, I just blew her brain. So yeah, the Crip blue lines are starting to become whack, because he says them all the time. This isn't really impacting his place on the list, but Blueface would not shut the fuck up during YB and Corday's verse. I didn't mind his ooh ad-libs. Those were pretty funny. It was when he was just unnecessarily repeating the words Corday was saying. Like feeling spaced out like a semicolon. She gave me plush brain. Cruising in the Mustang like I must change. All the lies told, too habituous. It's like, bro, do you even know what habituous means? Like, shut the hell up. I enjoyed Blueface's verse, but it really wasn't great. That's why he's only at number 6. Next is Roddy Ricch. This cipher was such a letdown compared to his freestyle. His freestyle was hard, but this cipher was very okay. Like, this was such a middle of the pack cipher. His lyrics were super basic too. I got expensive habits, Ace of spades when I'm thirsty. Plug, let me get it dirt cheap. We gonna pull up at the club 30 deep. With every generic rap lyric that came out his mouth, I was getting more and more upset. He didn't say anything that was crazy. The one thing I will give him is that he did a good job flow switching. He switched his flow about 3 or 4 times. That was a dope touch. But lyrically, there was nothing special about this cypher at all. This is like the most average cypher I ever heard. Actually, the only cypher in XXL history that's more painfully average than this was K-Camp's. Go watch K-Camp's 2015 XXL cypher. It's literally a more average version of Roddy Rich's. Even with my disappointment in Roddy, he didn't do a bad job. It was just super alright, which is why he's smack dab in the middle at number 5. Number 4 is Comethazine. One of the biggest things I hear about his cypher is that the beat didn't match him and that he could have rapped over a better one. This beat most definitely fit Comethazine's style, except for one thing. It was kinda too slow of a beat. The beat was fine for him, but it would have been better if the beat had a faster pace. Then he for sure could have flowed on it better. I like the imagery and the story that Comethazine created with his verse. Like, this nigga claim he gonna rush me, but I'm outside his spot right now, I'm about to rush his ass. Like, the shit in his pants past him a huggy line, it was an iffy one, but it did fit the story. Like, the dude was so nervous that I'm about to murk his ass that he about to shit himself. So I get why he said it. Catch him lacking, then kill him, then clean up the murder scene so there's no evidence. Like, I got blood on my Air Force Ones, but instead of washing them, I'm about to go hit up the Foot Locker to buy some more. Like, I had no big issues with his verse. The next couple of lines were kinda out of place. With the, she said, ever since you got rich, you act like a dick. Nah, bitch, that ain't it. I just can't trust a bitch. I seriously don't know like why that line was in there. You just described the whole murder scene and then randomly changed the subject to telling the girl that you having money is not why you're an asshole because you just don't trust women in general. And then he ended his verse with like more generic stuff about smoking weed and like some gunplay lines. I will say that Comethazine's verse got weaker like after the beginning part with the story. And then it just reverted to being alright. But hey, he did better than 6 other people in my opinion. And that's why he's at number 4. Bringing in the top 3 is the baby. I can't be the only person that noticed this, but the first 10 seconds of his verse, dude was offbeat as a motherfucker, dog. I thought I was listening to a G Herbo song. The first line he said, I thought it was like an intro or something, and that like he was about to talk some shit before rapping. But then he kept going, so I'm like, oh, he started already? Like he was running from the beat like he was running from 12. Like it was so bad. He immediately made up for it though by giving us a 2-minute verse that really, the length didn't drag it down by that much. It wasn't like Kamaya from the 2017 class. Her cypher was so damn long, she probably still rapping right now. But lyrically, hers was ass though. That's why the length was a problem. The baby's was cool. He had a perfect flow for his lines, and he made them sound really good. These niggas know I'm a dog, I ain't worried about him, I know he a bitch. The next nigga that come play with me, I'ma send him to go ask Tupac for a pic. They say I'm the hottest new nigga, go check the thermometer, that nigga sick. Like that whole part, and there was many other lines that I really liked from the baby. What puts him at number 3 was that even though I said there were a lot of nice lines, there were an equal amount, if not more, of basic lines. And those basic lines mixed in with the 2-minute long verse is what puts him lower. Like I said, the length didn't take it down by that much. It was just the length mixed in with a bunch of basic lines like, we gonna put his ass up like a blimp. They know baby gonna blow, he a flute. They know baby gonna blow, he a bomb. It started to be like, okay, sir, you could have eliminated like 30% of these lines to get your point across much quicker. It was still good enough though, and that's why he's in 3rd place. My runner-up is Megan Thee Stallion. Megan Thee Stallion did the best overall job on XXL this year. She had the 2nd best freestyle and cypher to me. Her cypher was short as hell. It was only 27 seconds. Usually a short time would be a bigger negative. For Megan, even with her length, she used to run her up because the other 8 people below her didn't do that good of a job. Other than the baby, everyone that's lower on this list, they didn't do good enough to be in the top 3. So even within that 27 seconds, Megan did a good job getting her message across, showcasing her personality, and she had a nice ass flow. Her whole verse, she made sure people know how much of a bad bitch she was, saying how some girls are jealous of her and that they be watching her every move. But even worse, these girls that's hating on her, she talking to their boyfriends on the low. But dog, when she said that your booty looking softer than Hawaiian rolls, I'm really curious on what niggas be telling her that. Because who would say something like that? That's ridiculously corny. But she ended her verse on the same bad bitch vibe she started with. And saying how even though she be telling these girls that she got they nigga wrapped around her little finger, she not even trying to have sex with them. She just want to jug them out their money. Like drop a screenshot if I want to start shit. Like she's telling these girls that all I gotta do is just show you the messages your man be sending me. Like I can easily ruin y'all relationship if I felt like it. But I'm just trying to use him for his money. Like her verse was straight to the point. It was efficient and she had a crazy flow and some good hustler lyrics. Well, what do you know? Now I will put this dude in 1st place. The best 2019 XXL Cypher belongs to YB and Cordae. Cordae was definitely the best one in his group, but that's not saying much because Rico and Blueface were mediocre. But he did good in his own right, saying how when you're down at the bottom and you're down to your last dollar, you really start wondering where your life is going to go. The thoroughbreds, no broken horses line was cool. The middle of his verse was alright, with him saying how he's too famous to be playing games with girls, and that girls are so used to lying that they're kind of sociopathic about it and they don't even realize that they lie so much. And then the end of his verse was cool. Everything is on the ups like UPS, but can he deliver it? That was nice. And it had a cool meaning, saying how even though he's a rising star in the rap game, people are still asking if he can capitalize on that fame and be one of the best. Plus, his inclusion of Blueface and Rico in his lines at the end was a nice touch. With all that being said though, I am starting to finally realize why people call YB and Cordae an overrated lyricist. The lines in this cypher that everyone kept pointing out and saying were great, they wasn't anything amazing to me. I'm feeling spaced out like a semicolon. That line was just like, okay, that wasn't fire. And of course, the life gonna be grand like my father's dad. The reason that line didn't hit for me is because back in Dave East's 2016 cypher, he already said a line similar to that. When Dave was talking about why he had to start selling drugs to support himself, instead of just simply saying, oh, I had to move weight to feed myself or something basic, he said, like my mother's mom felt, I had to pick grams up. Now that was fire. So Cordae's was still nice, I guess. It just, for me, it was like a weaker version of Dave East's line. The reason why I'm starting to agree that he's an overrated lyricist is that Cordae is just good at lyricism. He's not phenomenal or amazing like a lot of his fans say he is. He's better than most, but he's still not fantastic. But he was good enough to have the best cypher this year. Sorry to end on such a negative note, and sorry that this ranking video in general felt like I was complaining about most of the rappers and that I wasn't complimenting them enough, but it's because nearly all of these cyphers were underwhelming. This year's class in general, it was great on paper, but disappointing in execution. Outro.